Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord. And in our last episode, we created this financial district. We fleshed out our downtown, which is really coming together. And we filled up this triangle here with financial buildings. Now, we still don't have a ton of demand for office space, so we're getting very few of these actual financial buildings, but it will come. It's moving along nicely, and the next step today is that we're going to move over onto this side of the downtown and flesh out this little space over here on the other opposite side of the collector here. So why are we doing that? Well, if we look at our demand, we've got some significant demand for residential. And I wanted to put in the government district here today, but I think it's going to be better if we sort of satisfy some of this. So this might be a smaller mini episode, but we are going to put in some of the last remaining skyscrapers, and we're going to fill up, we're going to mix that with a whole bunch of towers, just like we've done on the coast here. We've got these beautiful green cities buildings, the self-sustaining ones. I think at level 5 they look really great. And we're going to sort of continue that theme up the coast on this side and then flesh out this whole area over here and maybe make a little educational campus on this side. And that'll be right before we get to our government episode. So let's get the sun on the right side of the screen here. And now we've got the faces of the buildings a little bit more visible. Ignore that fire, someone's gonna put it out. I swear someone will deal with it. Okay, here we go. Let's start working on this. So the first thing I wanna do is use this policy globally. This is the boost connections, which is going to increase the capacity of vehicles that carry tourists. So I would assume that's, yeah, right there. Boats, planes, trains, and private cars. It's $10,000 a week, which, you know, would bankrupt a small city, but we have quite a strong budget. Despite the red here, our industries are dumping, you know, tens of thousands into our bank account. We're doing very well. We're very healthy. So we're going to turn on boost connections. It's going to increase the capacity of tourists by 20%. So we're going to see if that actually does anything to our statistics on tourists. So let's turn that on. And let's see what it looks like now. So we've had a significant increase in tourists in the last little while. No doubt that's related to us doing a lot of work with our towers here. These towers are, you know, in real life they'd be office space, but in the game they're actually tourist buildings. So, and same with a lot of the things we put in on the waterfront, the museum, the fish market, all tourist buildings. So that's, wow, that's a significant fire. It's certainly spreading, but what are you gonna do? So let's see what it does with the tourists. And the next thing is we want to create a new district over on this side. And we've had our downtown sort of extended all the way over here, but I think what I want to do is we're just going to, are we going to extend the waterfront district? Yeah, no, I think we're going to build an entirely new one. And so Underhill Park is certainly not what we want. In fact, we've broken Stavanger here, our downtown zone. Let's actually just preemptively turn this into a new zone, which will be our government district. Now, this is just a temporary name. I'd love for you to come up with names for me. So, you know, we are a Nordic themed build. Think Arctic Circle, Scandinavia, Northern Russia, Northern Sea. This is the style. So that's just a placeholder. Underhill Park is not going to stand as well, but what we are going to do is add some policies here. So we're putting education boost on because I'm hoping that will help with the demand for some of the office buildings, which will help us flesh out this part of the downtown. And in fact, we're going to do the same for our waterfront district. And we're also going to come up here to Fjallesen, and we're going to add the education boost. We are not going to do the same for Rhinesgard because I think this is more of a low income area, which is putting the non-educated workers into the forestry industry and to the industrial zone. So Valina, I think you already have a education boost. It does. So that'll help contribute to some of the workers in the government district and in the downtown. And then also for this new district, we want to put on some, I think they're called themes, specializations rather. So as far as industry, no. Commercial, we're doing the same wall-to-wall that we've been using in the downtown, which I think looks quite nice and modern. And for office, I think we'll go IT cluster, we might just get a few office buildings in this area. And then on the residential front, we definitely want the self-sufficient buildings. So we continue with what pops up on the waterfront here. Before I forget, I wanted to mention that I did a few other little fixes while I was off camera. And one of those things is to add a few warehouses here, and they're on set to fill and commercial zones goods. There's another one I've placed on the zoo island over here, same thing. They're filling up with commercial goods because I was noticing that we were getting the signal that we're a little bit low on commercial goods, and especially over here as well, we're getting some in Torrance Square, so I put another a warehouse up here, same deal, and just took care of a few little garbage and death care issues. Now, this area has also been screaming for not enough buyers for their flowers, so we've put in a flower warehouse here, which is almost full, and we've got an animal products one here because these were screaming as well. And these farms are complaining about not enough buyers for their crops, so I put in an extra barn. I think it was this one here. So hopefully just maintaining the rest of the city while we focus on the downtown and ensuring that there's no challenges that pop up. So continuing with our residential district over here. So what I do not want is for my 4x4 towers to be right up butting against this monorail track. And so we're just going to adjust the coastline a little bit in this quay wall, and we'll have to take out this rock too. Okay, not a perfectly smooth grade here, but I can live with that. And we've moved the monorail tracks one space away from where our buildings are going to be. We can get our quay wall back in now. Okay, we have a bit more of a structure now, and I've put a little road in here because I know that's going to extend this direction. So we'll just make sure that that's there so we don't zone a building right in the middle of where we want the road. And I think we can get zoning. I'm just checking the noise, and I see that the main train station is pretty loud, so we're not going to put any residential there. Otherwise they're going to get sick. So we will put in just one office building there, and we'll keep zoning up and down here. All right, I like that, and we'll keep it going so that these buildings fill in and I can put in a couple more parks here. Let's start working on the other side of the road. And I think we'll start by putting in some of our remaining towers here. So we've got the Chai Li Tower, 146 meters from Taiwan, and we've got the Marble Building, 124 meters from South Africa. I think that looks pretty good. And again, we're going down in height, so we're using some of the smaller buildings, and we're just gonna get them in wherever they make sense. So here we go. I think it's official. We've used every single tower from the Skyscrapers pack in this build, so that's awesome. And they might be a little bit tight, but I think it's fine. I think we've left ourselves enough space between buildings that we can at least get some paths between. So let's do that now. And look at that, another 472 university students, which is definitely attributed to the education boost policy that we put on those 3 districts. So this is great. We're creating new office workers, and that should, I'm hoping, at least according to the game mechanics, spike the demand for offices. So I'm just going along and alternating buildings with parks so that we actually have places for people to live and play. And I really like this one. This is a really good size. I'm so happy that we have the new parks from the new pack because they're very versatile. They're different sizes than the ones we've gotten before. Although I don't know if I like this flea market type for in front of this gorgeous building. So let's see if we can find one that makes more sense. Yeah, I think I like that one. This is sort of like souvenir stands, newsstands. Maybe you get a little bit of, I don't know, groceries here. But it fits perfectly anyway, right in front of this building. So we'll keep it. And we've got our tropical garden in here, which makes some space. And then we've got a little bit of actual park space here. This park with birches is really just gorgeous. And it fits really perfectly between these two roads. So we'll keep it going. Added a few more park, well, I guess they're technically fountain plazas, but from the parks pack. This is good. It's giving us some breathability between the buildings. We don't want to sort of get them too tight, so we'll keep going with a little more of this this park asset stuff. I really do love this park. It fits perfectly in some of these spaces, and it's going to be a great amenity for the 4 buildings that are going to fit in here. This is a much appreciated asset, this tiny playground. It fits in a 2x3 space, and we've got options. So basketball, we've got a little gym, we've got the soccer net, which is kind of sad looking, and then we've got a little also minimalist slide / monkey bars. So I don't know, I kind of like the workout area, so that could be for all ages. We'll keep that going there too. I think we're going to try a little sneaky trick over here, and we're going to bring a park area over and try to get a little bit of a gazebo in there. And of course I did that wrong the first time, so let's fix it. Ah, that's nice. A little gazebo in there behind the park. And it's too bad this path doesn't truly snap to this node here, but that's okay. We made it look like it does. And I'm totally fine with that. So this block, I mean, pretty much fleshed out. We might just put a little touch of commercial in here. And we'll continue to do that in the spaces that we have. I don't want to put it in front of this building. It's a little too close, but we can do a little bit of decorating. I'm just noticing we've got the old trees on this road, so let's fix that up. Okay, we've continued that bike lane a little bit as well. And we'll just keep going and zoning. So I know that with the latest update, you can build roads that disallow zonings on one side or the other or both. And you know, I guess I'm still used to my old tools, so I want to just come through here with a fence and block off that zoning. And now we get, you know, if we do a little bit of this, we should get a little bit more zoning. In fact, I wonder if I should play with it even a little bit more. I think that's probably the maximum zoning we're gonna get, so we'll stick one in here, and we'll get 2 thinner ones in here. We'll make all of this in front some commercial. It's very annoying and odd that it won't let me upgrade this little path here, so let's see if this building will slide just a touch, and oddly I don't know that it will, so that's really odd. Let's see if we can just get it off out of the way for a second. Upgrade that and hopefully just put it back without breaking things. Let's play with it. Moment of truth. Well, we got lucky. We got it in. Okay, perfect. What's next? So the good old Railways of Japan pack coming in handy here. I love this 2x2 asset, and I believe there's a decal that goes with this, and so let's find that and make this a little bit of a plaza here. Was it worth it? I don't know. It looks nice from a distance, so we'll say it was a success. And let's see what other little spaces we can utilize here. So that road, because I upgraded it and the toggle was on no zoning, there wasn't any ability to build buildings there. So we fixed that, replaced the trees, and we have now some space for a little bit more commercial. Now, I want to make sure that these buildings level up, and I don't believe they're going to do that unless we have some education here. So you can see elementary, no coverage, high school, none, university, of course, is none, so, and library is pretty bad too. So I think what we need to do is absolutely create a little bit of a educational campus, and we'll put it right in here. So I think because we're going to be putting a lot more residential on this side, and probably, I'm thinking this area will most likely be a residential development as well, with a bridge going across. I think we can justify putting in some high capacity schools over here, and let's see what we can come up with for this block right here. Ooh, those are really nice assets. I don't have the proper lighting here, but yeah, it looks really great, and obviously it's going to be serving a lot of residents. 1,136 young children, and we've got 3,408 high school students, so pretty cool. What else would go in here? We don't want to use a lot of low-rise assets, but let's see if we can find something else. Yeah, that sports hall and gymnasium fits in here perfectly. It is, in the game mechanics, it's a health asset, but I think it looks like it could be a place where both the high school and elementary kids go to exercise. They've got gymnasiums in there, they've got basketball, probably some squash, or who knows, maybe a pool. And I think it's going to be a little more effective use of space having a multi-level asset than something that's just a ground level. I will sneak a basketball court in there because it just fits perfectly. And then we've got a couple 2x3s here, and we can take advantage of our new park assets. It would be perfect to use some of these things like the tiny playground fit? No, but the tiny park will. And so we can get 2 of those in there. And then we can get 2 in here. And in fact, what we can do is delete one of these and then get the tiny park off of this street. So just to vary it up a little bit. And I'm wondering, what kind of things would we have in a campus like this? So definitely, a gazebo, sure, for the high school kids, but maybe not this community garden. We'll switch it up. That's just a generic sort of garden space. Yeah, it fits well in front of this building. And over here, I don't really like this one. I do like the basketball court for the kids. However, we got your your really small kids and then your bigger kids over here, or maybe that's a high school basketball court. And then the community garden, sure, why not teach kids from a young age how to grow food? So I had to mess with this park a little bit to get this fence in, but I do think it would be important to have some kind of privacy and security for the kids, at least on the elementary side. So I think let's see if we can scoot it over a little bit, can we? And I think the high school kids are fine, they're just fine.
Of course, we don't want that power issue to persist, so I just put an ugly temporary line, but that will go when all of this fills in. So let's see the school kids start to fill into this campus here, and let's watch then these buildings level up, because they will, now that they have a little bit more education. You can see right now they're all uneducated, the people living here. A few educated at elementary level, but not good enough. So I think we've done a good thing. Let's check a few of the other services to make sure we have everything covered. One thing that's missing from this area is death care, so we're gonna find a little, small little space for one of those here. I think it might fit well here. And they'll be happy. That'll help those buildings level up as well. Let's keep continuing here. Child care and elder care. I want to do this consciously. I do want to find a space, because they're both low-rise buildings, space that makes sense. I don't know where that is yet. We're still in high density, so I don't want to just throw one in temporarily unless these buildings don't continue to level up. So we'll continue to run it at speed and check the other services. I thought I might be able to squeeze this into the educational campus, but it's just not going to look right. It certainly doesn't look right here, this tiny little historic building in the shadow of this massive tower. That's probably going to move, but for now it's just tucked away out of sight, and we'll continue with the aesthetic of this area. So I didn't want to put it here, it would just be right in the way. What's next? So I think the last thing we need to do is put in some trees in here and a little bit more detailing. So one thing I noticed was this rail corridor is looking a little bit boring, so we're gonna get in some trees along the corridor here. How does that look? I think that's much improved. That really adds a little bit of I don't know, just a little bit of detailing to the otherwise boring rail corridor. I suppose it's not that boring if you think about it, but yeah, this is much better. I like how this city is coming together. Let's go put some trees in between all of these buildings to make it look like it's not just a concrete jungle. So I think that looks a lot better. We're getting a little bit more green on the map, and you know, spots like this I kind of lament because there's just not any place to put trees. I mean, sure, this plaza has a little bit of green included in it, but I would have liked to have had a bit more trees in this area. I guess it's fine. I mean, we have our parks, we have our detailing in front of these buildings, we've got our trees on the roads. It's looking quite acceptable. No, I think it looks great. I'm really happy with the way this is turning out. You know, it's going to take some time for some of these buildings to level up. We've just put in our educational campus. I think if I had done that earlier, some of these residences might have leveled up faster. Although I am a little bit concerned that they're not right now. I'm wondering what is it they need to level up. It might just be land value. It might just be time. I think it's time. These buildings are all going to go to level 5 because they are in an area that has a significant amount of services. So I'm not concerned about that whatsoever. Let's just really quickly, I want to check on our financial district from last episode and see how many of these what do you call them, the financial office buildings are coming in. And here's, you know, a beautiful one over here. Let's just get a bit more light on these. That's better. And you can see that there are a lot of empty zones, right? These ones that popped up here are commercial buildings that I've set to go in between the financial buildings. But you know, we do get some. This one's a nice tall one. We've got this pair over here. I wish that had just been one building, but what can you do? And there's, you know, this beautiful corner building, which is awesome. But if we look at our zones, there's a lot of room to grow. We need to fill up some of these spaces. So I'm thinking it just will be time, you know, as we quell some of this really still healthy residential demand, there will be more need for office spaces, and it's coming, right? It's looking great. So let me think, is there anything else we want to add here? Yeah, I'm really quite happy with the way this turned out. We've leveraged the last few of our skyscraper buildings. We've satisfied a little bit of that residential demand, which will decrease as these buildings level up and we get more residents inside each building. And yeah, I think, you know, the downtown in general is looking pretty fantastic. Really happy with how it turned out. But what do you think? What is your opinion on this? Is it working? I mean, when we take a look at the waterfront from here, although the light's off, it looks pretty darn good to me. So, you know, this, as we build out more suburbs over here, it's gonna look like a real downtown. And, you know, I've based this build off a number of real cities like Seattle and Vancouver and Toronto, and I think it's turning out exactly the way I'd hoped. You know, obviously there are some limitations in the game and there are some limitations in me as a player, but I'm pleased. It's coming together. This is a real living city. And so let me know in the comments what you think. The more liking and commenting of videos and the more following, the more reach I have. And so I'd love to let you know when I have new videos coming out. Click that notification bell and look forward to chatting with you in the comments. If you have a name for one of the districts or the park areas that don't have a Nordic sounding name, throw it in the comments. You're probably going to get a district named after your name. So let's do it. I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments. And thanks for joining me in this little mini episode. I love playing the game. I'm hoping that I can get out as many episodes as possible before Cities Skylines 2 comes out, because I'll likely be shifting to that one just like most of you out there as well. So let's get the max value out of this game before we move on. Thanks again for watching and have an amazing day. Talk soon.